So, in case you didn't hear, the New York Times, an ostensibly respectable newspaper that we must listen to, has been caught lying for the state of Israel and spreading atrocity propaganda to justify Israel's war crimes in Gaza. The article was shared by Zionists and Hasbara morons all over Twitter, with claims that it was definitive proof that sexual violence was widespread on October the 7th. The only problem is that one of the key stories that this article hinges on is about a lady in the black dress called Gal Abdush. And the problem is that her family are refuting the idea that she experienced sexual violence. She was indeed murdered and treated horribly. This isn't up for debate. However, her family have made it clear that she did not experience sexual violence, and that the New York Times didn't even tell them that they were going to write this story, and have basically exploited their tragedy in order to spread propaganda for the Zionist regime. There is absolutely no forensic evidence that sexual violence took place on October the 7th. Now, I am not saying categorically that this means that it couldn't have happened, but the idea that it was massive and widespread is seemingly disproven by this alone. Yet Western media organizations like the New York Times, amongst others, have been releasing staggered reports of widespread sexual violence that offer no new information each time. All they are seeking to do is pretend that they are groundbreaking in order to keep this story alive whilst adding no new information. And this should be the final nail in the coffin of this atrocity propaganda, because this isn't about caring about victims of sexual violence. This is about utilizing victims of sexual violence to justify massacres of Palestinian people inside the Gaza Strip. And it's absolutely disgusting, and why you shouldn't listen to Western media on its own, and why you need to look at alternative and independent sources. What is also so incredibly disgusting about this reporting by Western media is the fact that widespread violence that has been alleged against Palestinian prisoners who have been detained en masse since October the 7th, where they have been stripped naked, beaten naked, photographed naked, amongst other things, are completely ignored. And this is a historical thing as well. You can find a wealth of information about sexual violence that is carried out by the Israeli military, yet Western media would just like to sweep this under the rug. But as soon as sexual violence is alleged on October the 7th, they're happy to run with the story because it fits within their narrative and it's able to be utilized to demonize Palestinians more generally. While stories of the same ilk coming out of the Israeli military, that has to be ignored, because Western media isn't about independent reporting. It's about doing propaganda for American geopolitical interests.